Natural selection, the process whereby organisms better adapted to their environment tend to survive and produce more offspring. We're going to take a look at that process tonight. Hey, welcome back to Guardwell Defense. I'm Rob. You got to be careful when you're around people who have firearms. This is true at the range and it's true at the gun shop. So we're going to take a look tonight at a example of natural selection and process. Now I'm making light of it, but this is a serious injury, and it's a type of accident that really can happen to anyone if you don't imbue the four safety rules into your DNA. And of course, those safety rules are: number one, treat all weapons as always loaded. Number two, don't cover anything with a muzzle that you're not willing to destroy. Number three, keep your finger off the trigger until your front sight is on an identified target. And four, know your target, know what's around it, know what's behind it. So we're going to take a look at an example of people who did not live by those rules. Let's take a look. Okay, so in this example of natural selection in action, we've got this guy on the right who's already a concealed carrier, and we got this guy on the left who's just received his new firearm. And these guys are going to grossly misuse every single primary safety rule. So at Guardwell Defense, we have four. Number one, all guns are always loaded. Two, never cover anything with a muzzle that you're not willing to destroy. Three, keep your finger off the trigger until the front sight is on an identified target. And finally, four, be sure of your target, know what is behind it, and know what is around it. So let's just look at how many times those rules are just grossly abused. So it looks like the new gun owner is trying to break down his firearm, and so his friend grabs it. So already we can see, the muzzle is being pointed in an unsafe direction, which is at the hand of his friend. And it looks like he's trying to work to get the slide off. You can see the way he was pointing the muzzle everywhere. So he's like, okay, well, let me just take out mine and see how that works, because it should be the same. My guess is it looks like possibly a Glock or something. In order to break down the weapon, you've got to pull the trigger in order to get the slide off. And so here he is, and we can see him take the magazine out. Okay, good. And he's got it pointed in a safe direction. Good. And now he's having trouble. Now, he took the magazine out, but there's still one in the chamber. And he should have racked that slide a couple times immediately. And he did not. So there he is fussing around with it. Of course, he has his finger on the trigger, pointing in an unsafe direction continuously, either at himself or at his friend. And finally, the inevitable happens. He just shot this poor bastard here in the abdomen. So, kind of late to say I'm sorry now. So some good lessons learned there. Treat all guns as always loaded. Never cover anything with a muzzle that you're not willing to destroy. And that is true no matter where you are or what you're doing. Keep your finger off that trigger until the front sight's on an identified threat. Well, in this case, he was trying to break down, take the slide off of his firearm. Okay, fair enough, but, he didn't clear his weapon properly before he started doing that. Never mind, he shouldn't have taken that weapon out in the store to begin with. Finally, be sure of your target and know what is behind it and know what is around it. I mean, this is, I don't know how this guy, how he came out, but probably a very serious injury, I'm guessing. So there were a lot of lessons learned in that little clip, and I don't mean to make light of it. I mean, the poor bastard who got shot will never be the same, and the poor bastard that shot him will also never be the same. Clearly, it's not something he meant to do. So, it's easy when you're at the range and you're already pointing that weapon down range and thinking, oh, okay, keep the finger off the trigger until the front sight's on an identified target. Got it. But it's in all the other instances when you're putting the weapon away, when you're taking the weapon out, when you're clearing it, or you think it's cleared, or you're holstering or unholstering. These are the little instances where a lot of negligent discharges happen. And this is where you really got to pay extra attention. And this is where you got to live those 4 safety rules. And if you do that, you'll be fine. So, learn those rules and then live by them. All right, hope that helps.